What is the splash of romance, and what are the things that you need to know? And there are only a limited amount available. More helpful things coming up in this mini series. I'm Christine Lozada with Where in the World is CL. I make travel videos every week to help you get up, get out, and go travel. I love Virgin Voyages, and I am actually being joined today by an insane expert that I love to sail with. Who are you?
Jason Carter with Seasun Vacations.
This is my travel agent. He knows everything about Virgin Voyages. Between us, we have 15 sailings, 3 of which we've done together. Let's start with Splash of Romance. What is it?
Splash of Romance is a way to upgrade your cruise. So the big thing with Splash of Romance is why people love it is they get to get on early. So people love that.
One of the best perks about it, right?
It is.
So if you don't know this, a lot of the things for booking shows, your workouts, your entertainment, that can't happen until you are on board, connected to the Virgin Voyages Wi-Fi and on the app, booking those things. And for some of them, they will sell out. And so being able to be on board amongst the first is one of the biggest perks. But there's more, right? You're not just getting on early, you're going through a separate line. Tell us about that.
You do, yeah. So when you get to the port, there's going to be an area that says Splash of Romance with a little kiosk set up outside, and you go there, you check in with your other person that you're traveling with, and they'll give you a armband that says Splash of Romance on it. And then you get into a special line where you get on almost first. You know, the rock stars get on first, but you get on right behind them.
It's true. And you are not only getting on first and in a separate area, but you literally bypass the entire line. So as Splash of Romance, you get on with what's called Deep Blue perks. Is that right?
That's right. Yep.
So if you have perks or status with Virgin Voyages, which if you're curious about that, make sure you check out the other video about that. But you're getting on early and in this separate area that feels kind of VIP when you are Splash of Romance. Let's talk about what the other perks are, because it goes beyond just getting on early. What would you say is the next one?
Every day you can go and get 2 pressed juices, and they range from $8 to $10 per juice. And they're really good. I mean, you go to the bar upstairs, that's by the pool where they have them, and you're allowed to have 2 of them. And they're have you had them before?
I have. So actually, there's
good.
actually more than just the upstairs bar. So there's the athletic club bar, and then there's also at the other pool as well. They have it.
Correct. Yep.
But also at the dock house, the dock
Yes.
and the dock house. And so the pressed juices are awesome. They have freshly cold pressed juices. They also have smoothies. But that's an insane perk. But you know which perk that I'm most interested in, which is the shake for champagne. What is that?
Yes. So you shake your phone like this, and it pops up on your phone and says, you tell it where you're at and, on the ship, and they'll bring you a bottle of Moet.
Exactly. So I know you probably might pick up your phone right now and try that, but unfortunately it doesn't work until you are on the ship, on the Wi-Fi, and have the Virgin Voyages app open. So when you have the app open, because I don't know if you've seen this, JC, but on my last sailing, someone was just shaking their phone and nothing was happening. And I was like, oh, you actually have to open the Virgin Voyages app for it to work. And they'll deliver it to wherever you are on the ship, which is fantastic. So you get that included, which is basically a $100 value. So that's half of the value right there. Throw in a couple juices and you're already there. But that value of getting on early is also key. Are there any other perks that people need to know about?
Yeah, the one other thing is sultry bites that you have delivered to your room.
What's a sultry bite?
Just like little quiches, just little bites that they deliver to the room. Yeah, it's nice.
So they really do. They make you feel a little bit special. They give you that VIP area. You have the option to do the shake for champagne to celebrate with your other. And you have the option to detox, so you can retox with the juices. So that's Splash of Romance. But there is also a mistake that I was on my last sailing. I was talking with someone who it was his 3rd sailing, and he was super disappointed about Splash of Romance. And that's because he could never get it. because there's a limited amount, but that number has changed. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so it used to be 75, but they bumped it up to 90. So they only give 90 per sailing.
Yeah.
So it does sell out quick. A lot of people get it. I probably 75% of people that book with me do end up getting it, simply just so they can get on early. And one other big perk that's with Splash of Romance too is they do have a party during your sailing. It varies on which night it's going to be, but they'll let you know. There'll be a letter in your room that'll say, "Hey, join us here for an hour and a half, an hour, where you get free drinks, whatever they're serving."
I love that there's special parties, and they do.
Yeah, it's nice.
They will adjust when and where those parties are to accommodate for weather or things like that. And it's not just a, come by and grab your drink. Like, they will have some of their entertainment staff out there, and they will do things to make that event feel very special for you. And you will always get that info once you've arrived in your stateroom with that welcome letter. And so the one that you see on screen right now, for example, is an example of a letter that I've received either as a solo sailor welcoming me to something, or as a Deep Blue Perks member welcoming me to one of these types of parties. So they're really fun. I love it when they're outside on the perch. That's my favorite spot for those parties.
Yeah. It's good too. And they do have another perk that is also very popular, which is the access to the thermal spa for 3 hours.
This is an important one. For those who don't know what the thermal spa is, it's one of my favorites. What is it?
That is it's in the spa area, and it's an area where they have some little tiny pools. It's like a cold pool, a warm pool, and little jacuzzi, and then they have a steam room, a sauna, and then a mud room.
And it's a really awesome space. And actually, my top tip for it is I actually recommend going at a kind of an odd hour. Obviously, if you're going on sea day in the middle of the day, it might be really busy. But if you go, for example, I went the morning before Bimini, or one of the times I've been, I went the morning before Bimini because most people were already off the ship, but I love to arrive at the beach club right at 1 p.m. So I had the thermal suite spa completely to myself, and then went immediately out to the beach afterwards, and it was fantastic. Yeah. But if you want a tour of that, I will link it in the description below so that you can see what that experience is like. It is very nice, but that's a really fantastic perk because they actually raised the price on how much it costs to just access the thermal suite spa. I want to say it's $45, but I will fact check that and add that below.
The big thing is if you're considering it, get it early because it does sell out pretty quick.
Ooh, I have a question because I will have a sailing in which I will be having my mom join me in my stateroom. What if I am not a couple? Can I still do Splash of Romance? How does that work?
Oh yeah, of course. I have lots of people that travel with friends, family, and they always say, well, wait a minute, I'm not a couple. Why is it Splash of Romance? I'm like, that doesn't matter. So this is something for two people to enjoy. You don't have to be a couple. So
exactly. So I will be Splash of Romantic with my mom. And actually that leads to another really important question. She and I will actually, maybe we won't, but we'll likely share a stateroom together. But it's important to know that you don't have to have just one bed, right? You can ask for the room to be arranged so that you have more than one bed. That's one of the top misperceptions. But obviously, if you actually do want to be romantic with whom you are sailing with, you have the option to have one bed. So let's recap that because it's actually a lot of perks. And there are 6 perks that we shared with you today. That first one, which I think is one of the best ones, is around early boarding and being amongst the first on the ship. The next 2 are around drinking, whether it's the fresh juices or your option for your shake for champagne. And speaking of drinking, they will have champagne as well at your party, where it's an option for you to go join other Splash of Romance sailors at a party with champagne. You got a little bit of sultry bites that they will deliver. I think that's super cute. The thermal suite spa, huge. That's a really great perk. It's so relaxing to be in that space. I absolutely love it. And don't miss out. If it's something you're curious about or interested in, make sure you book it because there's not a lot of them available and they do sell out. Hence, case in point, the guy that I've talked to who's never been able to get it. Splash Romance. I'm Christine Lozada. This is JC. You got to make sure you get the best deal possible because he will help you. All of that info is in the description below, and we will see you in the next one.